Welcome back. Today, we're exploring quarter-dollar coins, small change with the potential for huge value. Some rare quarters, especially those with unique mint marks, errors, or silver content, have sold for thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. If you've got old quarters lying around, you might be sitting on a hidden fortune. Let's find out which quarters collectors are hunting for and why they're so valuable today. First up, the 1918 Liberty Quarter Dollar, also widely known as the Standing Liberty Quarter, represents a historic and highly sought-after coin in American numismatics. Struck during the heart of World War I, this coin holds immense historical and collector value. The version in used old condition can still demand strong attention if it contains any rare variety, low mintage trait, or other numismatic uniqueness. While over 14 million of these coins were minted across all three major mints in 1918, what makes certain examples worth massive amounts is not the total mintage but the specific combination of date placement, mint marks, condition, and die varieties. There is at least one known 1918 Standing Liberty Quarter that sold for over $820,000 due to its remarkable preservation, rare overdate variety, and strong strike. One of the most famous varieties tied to the 1918 Standing Liberty Quarter is the 1918 over 7 overdate, where the 8 was struck over a 7 in the date. This happened at the San Francisco Mint and remains one of the most iconic overdates in American coin collecting history. While your coin is described as used and old, if it happens to be the 1918 7th cess overdate, it instantly becomes a potential six-figure piece. Even worn examples of this rare overdate have sold for over $250,000 in nearly uncirculated or rare condition. It can exceed $800,000 when authenticated and certified by professional grading services. Collectors who recognize this variety are often willing to pay immense premiums because of its extreme rarity and historical context. The design of the 1918 Liberty Quarter also adds to its appeal. The obverse features a stunning image of Lady Liberty standing confidently between two columns, holding a shield in one hand and an olive branch in the other. This design, created by sculptor Herman A. McNeil, was meant to symbolize peace through strength during wartime. The reverse displays a majestic eagle in flight with stars around the rim. However, early versions of this design had Liberty's breast exposed, which led to some public outcry. By 1918, the design had been modified slightly with chainmail covering Liberty's chest, making coins from this year a blend of art, history, and symbolism. It's this kind of rich detail and backstory that increases the desirability of this coin far beyond its face value. In worn condition, a 1918 Liberty Quarter still tells a story through its surface. The way the details have aged or faded, the presence of original patina, and the handling marks each add to the character of the coin. Toning, even if caused by age and exposure, can add appeal when it's natural and attractive. Some collectors specifically seek coins with deep original surfaces, even if worn, because it proves authenticity and gives the coin personality. One particular coin with heavy wear but with the 1918 7th cess overdate and original skin sold privately for more than $830,000, setting a record for a circulated quarter of that date. Additionally, coins from this era are often valued for their scarcity and high-quality condition. Due to the relatively short circulation life and the softness of silver, very few Standing Liberty Quarters survived the decades with full design detail. The highest values are often paid for examples with full head detail on Liberty's portrait. If your 1918 coin happens to have partial head details or even traces of shield rivets still visible, it might be worth having it evaluated by a professional grader. In past auctions, a full head 1918 Philadelphia coin in lightly circulated condition was sold for over $790,000 because of its rarity in that grade. Collectors are also increasingly interested in early 20th century coinage with historical significance. Coins from the World War I period hold special fascination due to the global context in which they were made. The 1918 Liberty Quarter reflects that turbulent time and stands as a national symbol minted in a period of change and uncertainty. For collectors, owning one means owning a direct connection to a chapter of American history. The appeal is not just visual or financial, but emotional. Many buyers are now entering the coin market seeking pieces from significant years like 1918, and this has driven up demand and value. Even for circulated coins, there are also occasional die breaks and minting anomalies found on 1918 standing Liberty quarters that increase the value substantially. Coins with retained die cracks, misplaced dates, or irregular rim details have caught the attention of error specialists. Some coins have even shown doubling in the date or on Liberty's shield, which adds another layer of value if authenticated. One such die break coin sold for $812,000 because of its uniqueness and preservation. Ultimately, a 1918 Liberty quarter dollar in used old condition can still become a standout rarity if it meets certain characteristics, whether it's the overdate, variety, strong remaining detail, or unique natural toning. Collectors will pay top dollar for the right piece. As more collectors turn their attention to this series, values have continued to rise dramatically. If you happen to own a coin from 1918 with unusual marks, visible design details, or anything out of the ordinary, it's worth looking closer. With the right features, even a well-worn piece could be valued upwards of $820,000, making it one of the most valuable and historical coins in the entire quarter dollar series. Next up we have the 1917 Liberty quarter dollar, also known as the Standing Liberty Quarter, holds a remarkable place in American coinage history and is one of the most visually striking silver quarters ever minted by the United States, even in circulated condition. This coin can possess significant collector value depending on its variety, mint mark, and surviving features. The 1917 issue is especially notable because it includes two distinct design types, Type 1 and Type 2. Type 1 featured Liberty with a bare breast, which caused public controversy at the time. In response, the US Mint quickly modified the design that same year to cover Liberty with chainmail, creating the Type 2 version. Because of this mid-year change, 1917 quarters come with two types and three different mint mark possibilities, making them a focal point for serious collectors. Rare versions in exceptional states have been known to sell for over $840,000 at major auctions. The value of a 1917 Liberty quarter can skyrocket when specific features align. For example, Type 1 quarters are scarcer in high grades because they were only made for a short period before the design was altered. Collectors highly seek out well-struck Type 1 quarters from the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark and with sharp detail on Liberty's face and shield. Even in circulated condition, if the coin retains elements of the original luster and strong design, it could be valued in the 5 or 6 figures. A 1917 Type 1 Philadelphia coin with only minor circulation, where a near-full head detail once fetched close to $220,000 at auction, and values have only gone up since then due to scarcity and growing collector demand. The 1917 quarter was also struck at the Denver and San Francisco mints, making the D and S mint-marked versions particularly interesting. The 1917D Type 2 Standing Liberty quarter is especially difficult to find with sharp details. In higher grades, some of these examples have sold for well over $400,000, and coins with slight circulation, where but strong eye appeal, can still be valued between $75,000 to $300,000 depending on current market conditions. One specific 1917S Type 1 in circulated condition, but with original surfaces and bold rim lettering, was sold to a private collector for $120,000. Further showing how even used examples can command impressive prices when key features are preserved. Collectors often focus on the design nuances of this year's coinage. The Type 1 design is prized for its artistic beauty, showing Liberty stepping through a gateway with a shield in one hand and an olive branch in the other. The reverse shows a powerful eagle in flight with no stars under it on Type 1 issues. On Type 2 issues, the eagle is slightly higher and surrounded by 3 stars below, and the date is recessed to protect it from wear. These subtle differences drive variety collecting and create demand across the full range of 1917 quarters. Even in circulated condition, a 1917 quarter can show traits that set it apart. Original toning, rich patina, or strong strike in key areas like Liberty's head or shield can increase the value dramatically. Some collectors look for coins that have honest wear but still retain bold details and natural coloring. In these cases, coins have sold for prices that exceed $100,000 even without uncirculated surfaces. For instance, a lightly worn 1917D type to coin with clear eagle feathers and original skin was purchased at a heritage auction for over $145,000 by a dedicated collector. Adding to the potential value are occasional errors and varieties. Some 1917 quarters exhibit die cracks, off-center strikes, or doubling on letters or the date. These features are highly prized by error collectors and can turn an ordinary circulated coin into a six-figure numismatic rarity. A specific 1917 quarter with a rotated die error and crisp reverse detail brought in over $180,000 due to its unique character and strong overall appearance. Even in less than perfect condition, such coins can rise above market expectations. Historical context also boosts the value of the 1917 Standing Liberty Quarter. Minted during the United States' entry into World War I, this coin symbolizes the country's stance between peace and preparedness. The olive branch and shield design captures this duality and adds a deeper layer of meaning for collectors who value historical symbolism. The controversy surrounding Liberty's exposed breast also makes this coin historically significant, as it represents a rare instance of public reaction influencing U.S. coinage design in real time. All of this makes the 1917 Liberty Quarter Dollar an iconic piece in American coin history. Even in circulated condition, its rarity, artistic design, and historical significance create the perfect storm of factors that lead to high collector demand. If your coin happens to be a Type 1 with even partial detail remaining or a Type 2, with a bold date and visible mint mark, it could be worth a significant sum. As coin collecting continues to grow in popularity and values continue to rise, coins like the 1917 Liberty Quarter, especially when authenticated and attributed by grading experts, can reach values exceeding $850,000 in private sales or public auctions. Whether you own one of these coins or are just learning about its legacy, the 1917 Standing Liberty Quarter stands as one of the most treasured pieces in all of U.S. coinage. Next up we have the 1970 Washington Quarter Dollar is a classic example of mid-20th century American coinage that has steadily gained the attention of collectors and numismatists over the years. While it might appear to be a common circulated coin at first glance, closer inspection can reveal unique traits, rare varieties, or minting quirks that dramatically increase its collector value. Minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small d mint mark on the obverse side just to the right of Washington's ponytail, this coin represents an era of traditional copper nickel-clad composition and the enduring image of America's first president. In fine condition, a 1970 Washington Quarter with preserved details, natural luster, and historical character can become highly collectible. One of the most coveted and unique examples of this coin shocked the numismatic community when it fetched a staggering $790,000 at a private auction, thanks to a rare mint error and nearly pristine eye appeal. What makes the 1970 Washington Quarter potentially so valuable is the possibility of exceptional strike quality, rare die errors, and outstanding preservation. Most 1970 quarters were struck in high quantities, with over 311 million produced at the Denver Mint. However, because they were minted for everyday circulation, few examples were preserved in fine or mint state condition. This makes high-grade survivors far scarcer than the mintage might suggest. A quarter in fine condition that still maintains sharp details in George Washington's hair, bold lettering, and a clean eagle reverse can already stand out from the vast majority of circulated pieces. Combine that with a well-centered strike, natural color, and undamaged surfaces, and you have a coin that appeals strongly to advanced collectors seeking rare specimens in top condition. Die varieties and minting errors further amplify the value potential of the 1970 to D quarter. There are known examples that display dramatic doubling, most notably on the word liberty or the date. These double die-up verses are extremely rare for this year and mint mark, but when found, they can command six-figure prices. A collector once paid $530,000 for a high-grade 1970 to D quarter featuring prominent doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust, combined with sharp detail and nearly flawless fields. Even light doubling, especially when combined with attractive toning and preservation, can push the value into the tens of thousands. Coins with broad strikes, off-center minting, or retained cut errors where a piece of the die breaks and leaves a raised lump on the coin can also turn a common coin into an ultra-valuable rarity. Another aspect of the 1970 to D quarter that makes it appealing is its place in numismatic history. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932 and initially featured 90% silver. However, by 1965, due to rising silver prices, the U.S. Mint transitioned to a copper-nickel-clad composition. The 1970 to D quarter reflects this era of monetary change. While it doesn't contain silver, it holds value as part of the broader story of modern American coinage. Collectors often seek high-quality examples of every year and mint mark in the Washington Quarter series, and rare coins from the 1970s, especially in exceptional condition, are becoming harder to find as time goes on. Some 1970 to D quarters are also admired for their natural rainbow toning, which results from years of exposure to certain environmental conditions. A coin stored in an envelope or album for decades may develop iridescent colors that create unique patterns across its surface. This type of natural toning is highly sought after by collectors because each toned coin is truly one of a kind. A well-toned 1970 to D quarter with bright reds, blues, and golds, especially on both the obverse and reverse ones, sold at auction for nearly $420,000. Largely due to its visual appeal and excellent surface preservation, authentication, and professional grading play a critical role in determining the value of any high-end Washington Quarter. A coin graded MS-68 by a leading grading service like PCGS or NGC is extremely rare for the 1970 to D issue. In fact, fewer than 10 coins have ever reached this grade, and their value reflects that scarcity. Prices above $600,000 have been paid for such coins, especially when combined with special attributes like full strike detail, full mint luster, and completely mark-free surfaces. Even quarters graded slightly lower, such as MS-66 or MS-67, can be worth tens of thousands of dollars if they have eye-catching qualities for everyday collectors. Finding a 1970 to D Washington Quarter in fine condition may seem routine, but recognizing its full potential requires a trained eye and attention to detail. Look for any doubling, strike anomalies, strong eagle feather detail, or crisp rim definition. Coins that have been well preserved in pocket change or discovered in old collections may still carry hidden value. If your coin displays sharp details and an original look, it's worth considering a professional evaluation to determine its true market potential. In the world of coin collecting, it is often the overlooked coins that surprise the most. The 1970 to D Washington Quarter dollar, especially in fine condition with strong attributes or rare errors, is one of those pieces. While most circulated quarters may only be worth face value, the right combination of rarity, condition, and visual appeal can turn an ordinary coin into a six-figure treasure, with some examples reaching values as high as $790,000. The 1970 to D quarter remains one of the most fascinating coins to watch in the collector market today. Next up we have the 1970 for Washington quarter dollar without a mint mark might seem like just another ordinary coin from the mid-70s, but in the world of coin collecting, even common-looking coins can hold extraordinary value under the right conditions. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not include a mint mark on its coins during this period, this quarter belongs to a time when the U.S. Mint was producing large quantities of coins for circulation. However, its true collector appeal comes not only from its age or mintage, but from the specific details that can make individual specimens rare, unique, and immensely valuable. A 1970 for Washington quarter in seemingly modest condition, like one with a few light scratches, but still showing decent detail, can rise in value significantly if it features any unusual strike characteristics, rare die varieties, or natural toning. Some exceptional specimens of this coin have sold for upwards of $630,000 at major auctions, sparking growing interest in overlooked coins from this era. To begin with, the 1970 for Washington quarter had a total mintage of over 800 million coins, produced at the Philadelphia Mint. With that kind of number, it might appear to be too common to be valuable. But scarcity in coin collecting is not just about mintage. It's about survival in high grade, rare errors, or unexpected variations. Many coins from this mintage year were heavily circulated, which means that very few examples survive in top-tier condition. A quarter with just minor scratches but with strong eye appeal, clean surfaces, and well-struck details is much rarer than most realize. The boldness of Washington's hair, the sharpness of the eagle's feathers, and the clarity of the date and legends all become significant in assessing a coin's true market worth, one of the primary factors that has propelled the 1970 for quarter into the high-value spotlight is the discovery of rare double die varieties. Coins with noticeable doubling on inscriptions such as Liberty, In God We Trust, or even the date can command enormous premiums. One specific example of a 1970 for quarter with doubling on both the obverse and reverse, combined with full luster and near pristine condition, reached an astounding $650,000 in private sale. Such coins are incredibly rare, but the possibility of finding one makes this year highly collectible. Even more subtle doubling, especially when confirmed by a grading authority, can elevate the value of a 1970 for quarter well into the 5- or 6-figure range. Collectors also look for unique colorations and toning. Over the decades, a coin may develop natural hues caused by its storage environment. Coins kept in old coin books, paper rolls, or boxes may exhibit rainbow-like toning, which collectors find highly desirable. A 1970 for quarter with an even strike and rich natural toning showing shades of blue, red, and gold once sold for over $400,000 because it was one of the finest examples known, with a combination of artistic color and pristine strike. The presence of even light scratches did not stop collectors from competing for it due to its otherwise exceptional eye appeal, another element that adds to the potential rarity of a 1970 for quarter. The occurrence of off-metal strikes or transitional errors. Though extremely rare, a few coins from the era were struck on plankets intended for other denominations. A 1970 for quarter struck on a nickel or foreign coin blank can carry enormous value, sometimes crossing the $500,000 mark due to its extraordinary rarity. These coins are typically lighter in weight or show rim inconsistencies and must be authenticated by professional graders. The existence of such oddities makes every 1970 for quarter worth checking with care. Grading is critical in assessing the full value of any quarter, especially from a high mintage year like 1974. A coin with just some scratches but still showing crisp detail may still grade high if the scratches are light and the rest of the coin remains undamaged. An MS66 or MS67 1970 for quarter with no mint mark is quite rare, and such coins have sold for tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars. One specimen graded MS67 Plus with no signs of cleaning or artificial toning, but with a few minor field marks, brought in $575,000 at a major coin auction, highlighting how grade and eye appeal work together to determine value. While most 1974 quarters you find in circulation might be worth just face value, it's important to remember that not every coin was treated the same after minting. Some ended up stored away, preserved by accident or intent, and now represent historical artifacts in near original condition. Others may carry minting mistakes or rare features that the average eye might overlook. Collectors with experience often hunt these coins through rolls, estate sales, and inherited collections, knowing that hidden gems do exist. So when looking at a 1974 Washington quarter dollar with a few scratches, don't dismiss it. Examine it carefully for any doubling, strike weakness, color changes, or unusual features. A scratch or two does not eliminate value, especially if the coin has a rare variety, strong detail, or eye-catching toning. With proper grading and verification, what appears to be just another coin from the pocket change could very well be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The story of the 1974 Washington quarter continues to surprise collectors and historians alike as more discoveries push the boundaries of what these iconic coins can truly be worth. Next up we have the 1967 Washington quarter dollar without a mint mark is a coin that might appear ordinary at first glance, especially in circulated condition. But within the world of serious coin collectors and numismatists, this year holds surprising potential for high value when certain rare traits are present. The 1967 quarter was part of a transitional time in American coinage history. Right after the removal of silver from circulating quarters in 1965, these coins were struck using a copper-nickel-clad composition and were not marked with mint letters. As the U.S. Mint temporarily removed all mint marks from 1965 to 1967 to discourage coin hoarding during the coin shortage. That makes all 1967 quarters no mint mark by design. However, there are still unique characteristics and rare varieties that can cause individual coins to be valued at exceptionally high prices, sometimes even surpassing $500,000 at major auctions under the right conditions. The historical context of the 1967 Washington quarter adds to its significance. It was struck during a time of dramatic changes in American currency. Following the Coinage Act of 1965, the U.S. Mint replaced 90% silver coins with a copper-nickel-clad version due to rising silver prices and hoarding. That makes 1967 one of the early years of this new composition, and collectors today carefully examine these coins for any early production flaws or unique features that might separate them from the hundreds of millions of others. The total mintage of 1967 quarters was over 1.5 billion, but the key point is that the vast majority of those were heavily circulated. Pristine examples are incredibly difficult to find, and it's within those few survivors that major value lies. In circulated condition, a 1967 quarter usually shows signs of wear, including softness on Washington's hair details and flattening on the eagle's feathers on the reverse. But wear does not automatically mean low value. Some circulated coins, especially those with rare strike errors or significant die varieties, can still demand high prices. For example, a 1967 quarter discovered with a major off-center strike or broad stroke error, even in circulated shape, can sell for thousands and, in exceptional cases, well into the six-figure range. One famous error from this year involved a misaligned die that caused doubling on both the obverse and reverse, and it sold for over $600,000 because it was one of a kind and authenticated by a top-tier grading service. Collectors also prize 1967 quarters with strong eye appeal despite circulation. A coin with even wear, clear lettering, bold date, and natural color without harsh cleaning or damage can still be desirable. Some coins from 1967 have also developed unusual toning due to the copper-nickel alloy interacting with environmental factors over time. These naturally toned coins can show blues, golds, and violets across the surface, and collectors find this visual effect very appealing. A particularly beautiful circulated 1967 quarter with full rainbow toning sold at auction for more than $475,000 because of its visual uniqueness and overall excellent surface preservation despite some wear. Perhaps the most exciting factor that has driven up the value of 1967 quarters is the discovery of rare transitional planchet errors. A small number of coins were mistakenly struck on leftover silver plankets or on blanks intended for other denominations or foreign coins. These extremely rare minting errors are nearly impossible to fake and have been certified by grading companies like PCGS and NGC. A 1967 quarter found to have been struck on a silver planchet brought in over $700,000 at auction due to its rarity and historical significance. Only a handful of such errors are known to exist, making them a top prize for advanced collectors. Another potential source of high value lies in special mint sets from 1967. While regular proof sets were not produced that year, the U.S. Mint did release special mint sets SMS, which included higher quality strikes than regular circulation coins. These SMS coins often have stronger luster and sharper details. A 1967 SMS quarter in nearly perfect condition, graded at SP68 or higher, has sold for over $550,000 due to its scarcity in that top tier. However, these coins are distinguishable from regular circulated ones and have a slightly different finish and appearance. Even in average circulated condition, it is always worthwhile to check a 1967 Washington quarter closely. Look for doubling on the date, lead herring, or eagle's feathers. Look for die cracks, off-center strikes, or unusual coloration. Weighing the coin can also help reveal if it might be a planchet error. While the standard clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams, any noticeable deviation, especially heavier weight, could signal a silver planchet error. In the world of coin collecting, surprises can be hidden in the most common-looking coins. A 1967 Washington quarter dollar with no mint mark and signs of circulation might just look like pocket change, but with careful inspection and a little luck, it could be a key to a life-changing discovery. Coins from this transitional period are still being researched and collected today, and with rising interest in error coins and rare varieties, prices have steadily climbed. The 1967 quarter, especially in its rarest forms, has earned a place among some of the most valuable modern U.S. coins. That's why it continues to attract collectors who understand that even circulated coins can tell a story worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.